Is it working? Okay. Hi, guys. Alright, welcome back to some more Kerbal space program. I did say that you're mostly supposed to stay away from these kind of like missions to conduct temperature surveys or focus temperature surveys or whatever you want to call them, because they require space planes, and that in this episode we'll try to do a flyby of the moon. But I said that, that is like that's like just an average thing to do. Let's do something like more interesting. So I decided to like grab the mission that is to conduct a temperature survey that is like the closest to us, and that is Kirim's obsession. This is what is called. And yeah, we're gonna do just that, just so we can show you guys how airplanes and stuff like that work. We'll have to measure temperature in flight below 18,900 meters near Kirim's obsession. You can also do that with a rocket, but it's usually much more recommended to do it with planes. So we're gonna try and build something functional over here. Hopefully, it's been a while, so not sure how well it works. So just strap on the thermometer just to get it out of the way, because we will definitely need that. Okay, so the reason why it's recommended to stay away from these kind of missions is mostly because they take a very long time, and it basically a lot of like time dedication if you want to like do these ones properly. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the stories of how I went through these kinds of missions and how annoying they are as I go to this one. It's gonna be a nice little story, basically. Sometimes these kind of missions took me so long that I would just put on some music, the music from what was it called? Some sea shanties from Assassin's Creed 4, and let them run as I would fly around. Alright, there you go. A tail fin is something that we're looking for. Just trying to like attach it as... That is not very straight. God damn it. Minor technical issues, but I guess you're used to that by now. By this point of the game. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now the problem is that we'll need some kind of like wings to the side, and we don't really have that good ones. I mean, technically we can use the tail fins as wings. I can't remember how well they work, but I know that my very first plane was a very simple little thing that did not require advanced thinking or anything like that. So yeah, we might try that. Now obviously we don't have anything for the bottom over here, so it looks pretty hideous. So just to make it not look like completely horrible, I'm gonna just strap on a heat shield. For extra security measures, I am going to plant a parachute on top. Usually, it's an airplane, so normally you'd want to like land back with it, but that doesn't usually happen every time. So so this is the steering wheel, and these are the fixed landing gears. Okay, we'll try and use these. Oh my god, it's so annoying to place. You'll have to like use things like we'll put them like this, so it has a little bit more stability, but we'll have to get to like using the tools to start orienting things properly. Let's see, can we put like can we survive with a single one over here? It doesn't seem to be so. We'll have to put two in front as well. I'm gonna tell you, this is not a very pretty plane, and it doesn't even have an engine, so just wait, we're not yet finished. These fuel engines are not going to work actually, because this is our engine that we have to use. It's a basic jet engine, and as you can see, it's much smaller and it needs its own special liquid fuel, and it's this one that is going to use. I'm gonna put it over here a little bit on top. And the jet engines, unlike regular rocket engines, they do not use oxidizers. the regular rocket engines. As you can see in the fuel tank, they have liquid fuel plus oxidizer, and that is necessary because, you know, in space you don't have any oxygen, so you need some way to do that, and instead they take air with the air intakes. Right now these are the most simple ones that we have and the only ones that we have, but later on we'll have more, you know, better complex ones. And yeah, this is basically how it works. Obviously it has its own staging, so gonna have to take care of that. Wheels, pilot, uh, fins for wings. I mean, we could put these wings, but I feel like they're a little bit too big and it might not take off. I know things don't really work quite as planned, and obviously the controls are also a little bit different, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But hopefully this is good enough to complete the mission, as I will you know, tell you the story of my misfortunes with this kind of mission. So we'll call this one the first air plane. There you go. Kind of funny though, how you know, you make rockets first and then airplanes in this game, and actually airplanes are much harder to make in this game compared to like rockets. Not to mention that we have like the absolute most terrible, absolutely terrible like landing strut. So I did toggle the brakes because otherwise, as you can see, the plane does go backwards. We're a little bit in a slope over here. Alright, let's see if I remember how to do this. We're gonna throttle up to the maximum. We're gonna go ahead and activate our navigation. So we have a very short run. We'll just go, take off, take a left turn, go there, take another left turn, and hopefully land over here. I hope I have enough fuel. I should have taken away fuel from these things. Now they're just gonna wait on us for no reason. This might be the first time when I'll actually need to do revert flight, depending on how this goes. So yeah, it's gonna have to work. Actually, let me do revert flight and let me check just for safety the center of mass, center of thrust, and aerodynamic delay. So I think these are pretty good. What happens if we like reduce it? This puts us a lot more in front. Okay, so I think this is perfect. I can't remember, it's supposed to be like either a little bit in the front or a little bit in the back, the center of mass, compared to like the center of lift. And I remember there was reasoning for that, but I just cannot remember off the top of my head. So I know I feel kind of stupid for, you know, this kind of like rookie mistakes, but airplanes are not my specialty. Let's just put it that way. All right, let's try this out before we tumble about. We can obviously put regular rockets as well. All right, yeah. This is not the best runway I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, it's what happens. All right, we'll just do revert to launch until we see if we can make something work. If not, then we'll just give up on it. Anyway, what I wanted to say about these kind of missions is that they just take so long. Like, they're not complicated, and that's why they only have like very little stars to them. They're, you know, the technicalities of it are quite simple, to be totally fair and honest. I mean, even for this mission, like you could use a rocket. You could basically make a rover with just strap some wheels on the launch thing, and that would be good enough, you know, just to drive all the way to over there, and you'd be able to do it. You could even do it with Kerbals if they could carry instruments, but that unfortunately does not work. But whoa, that was crazy! If only we'd not failed that spectacularly. Let's go and check this a little bit. Go for this for now and see how it works, and if it doesn't, we'll remove it later. Well, yeah, the problem is that you know, it just takes so long. Like I would spend like entire hours just to do these weird like observational surveys or whatever, you know, you want to call them, and it was very annoying. Like, this one is very close obviously, but you'd get some that are much further away, like all the way to the North Poles, you know, or all the way to the mountains or in the deserts. And there would be some that were very close to one another, but not close enough that you could like you know, the thing is that once you land the plane, it's much harder to take off. Like it's hard enough to take off from a runway, so you know, taking off from like a hill or a mountain is like nearly impossible. So once you land it, you could not bring it back. So you'd have to like take your Kerbal out to do the rest of the work. And although they were close, like only a few kilometers apart, having to walk the Kerbal from one place to another would take like 10 and 15 and 20 minutes, and it was just absolutely ridiculous. And it's not working very well. This is there's clearly some problems with the design, and we're gonna try and see if we can improve it ever so slightly. I don't think that this will help too much, but we'll try. You know, once again, trial and error, very important. I mean, in real life they have like way bigger wings, but in this game this might only result in like much less stability. I mean, it might result in not having enough thrust to lift off, basically. Alright, I think this is somewhat how you want to have them. Let's try again. They need to be on the same level, and I think the center of mass must be a little bit forward, or the center of lift. Can't exactly remember. So yeah, and then you know, after that first mission when I had to get the Kerbal through the mountains and it took forever, I said, you know, let's oh, God, let's play it smart. Let's make a rover and send him over there. You know, big fucking mistake. Like the rover, not only that it can't really go much further, much faster than like 12 or 15 meters per second without risking to like tumble and flip over, but you know, it required electricity. When I had the mission to collect data from the North Pole, I didn't have sun all the time, you know, because of how it was situated. So you know, if I went just a little bit too much, I wonder if I should put these things a little bit lower. Like I'm trying to come up with ideas at this point, because this is clearly not working as intended. Now the wings might block the air intake if we make it this way, but we'll try and make it work. Worst case scenario, I'll just go and look on my other save file and see how I made that first one, my first model, and try to copy that. Right now I'm trying to like make it out of the top of my head, and I clearly cannot remember it. And yeah, when I would go even like below like the smallest mountain, you know, it would just we wouldn't have sunlight, and we would just lose power. And not to mention that the ice made it extremely hard to like brake and slow down. It was just terrible. Same, pretty similar with the desert as well. But yeah, if that wasn't hard enough, if you thought that, you know, oh, that's just easy, you know, that was having like the comfort of Earth's gravity and atmosphere, then I had a similar mission, but this time on Minmus, which those of you who are veterans on this game know how bad the how like weak the gravity is there, and no air resistance. And you know, I just made a rocket. I brought in the thing with me. Let's try a little bit less thrust this time. Maybe that works a little bit better. I brought the rover on the rocket. You know, let's not think about how hard it was to bring the rover all the way there. That was the easy part. Using the rover on Minmus was a complete, like, utter, just so difficult. Well, at least Jebediah is not dying in any of these trials, even though I am reverting them and therefore not like fully taking advantage of them. But I mean, I would basically just waste money if I kept every attempt. Not to mention that, you know, it's a very high risk that he could die. Come on, try and keep that. God damn it, I'm pissed off. Alright. Wait just a second over here while I try and remember how these pieces of shit were made. Alright, we're back, and I officially gave up on the idea of making a plane for this episode because, yeah, it seems that I'm missing a few components that I used for like the first time I've made a plane, so I'm not going to bother with trying to like make anything work out of those, and instead we're gonna try and do that flyby of the moon mission, and that is gonna be a whole lot more interesting. Now for that we're gonna need loads of components, dude. Fucking giant loads of components, but it's okay. Now we have a lot more mass available and a lot more you know, things to work with. They're even going to put in a radiator, so we no longer have any problems whatsoever with the heating when we come down. We're also going to obviously put the mystery goo, thermometers. Trying not to do this so we don't have like that many duplicates of them. There you go, 2 thermometers, 2 barometers. Very nice and very dandy. Alright, then we'll need a stack decoupler over here, regular one, nice and easy. First, I mean this will be the last engine, this will be basically the thing that you know, kind of like returns or goes about. And for that we'll also need the radial mount parachutes, and we'll also have Communitron to transmit science if we need to, and electrical, there we go, some solar panels will be very beneficial so we do not run out of electricity like last time. And we're gonna have another one of those decouplers right over here. I'm gonna bring the ship higher up. It's gonna be one of the biggest ships I've made so far, so just stand by. This is gonna be some shit, how you know, kids say it in these days. Alright, very good looking so far. I will want to get the fuel systems eventually and get the fuel pumping. That is that will allow us to switch from using the solid fuel boosters on the takeoff stage, and they are way more efficient in how we do fuel, because they basically like pump fuel. You can put like a regular liquid fuel engines on the side and have them like pump fuel to this main one, because you know, if you put them regularly then you have 2 options: either you fire just these ones and these center ones stay put and that you don't get as much thrust, or you have them all free fire, but that means that, you know, all 3 of them will run out of fuel at the same time. But the problem is that you need, you know, a lot of fuel like when you take off. You need a lot of thrust when you take off, so you need multiple engines, but once you're in space you don't need as much and you need the actual fuel. So, you know, just these kind of like small little technicalities that you need to take care of. But anyway, this should be working pretty fine. Could add a couple of more solar panels if we feel like it, but oops, clicked outside of the game for a second. Not exactly sure if we need to. Not also 100% sure if we actually have enough fuel to make it all the way to the moon. It should, but you know, once again, it's been a while since I tried, so we might be in for a rough one. Alright, so what do we have over here? Oh, this looks terrifying. Okay, well, we'll have these. We will have this, then decouple, then bam, then this last engine will fire, then bam, and then we'll have this final one. This is like the landing stage, for which we can also put like landing struts if we want to. It's not gonna be necessary, and I usually like land in the ocean, so it doesn't really matter one way or the other, but you know, just for you know, it looks better. Should also do a mission to the desert. There's more science to collect from that biome. We'll see. We'll see how this works. We'll call this one uh first high orbiter. So the main idea of this ship is that it's capable of going very high into orbit, and if possible, we will see. We'll also make an orbit around the moon, but we'll have to wait and see if that is feasible. Anyway, let's go on and launch it and see just how high of an orbiter it is. Alright, very good. Maximum throttle. Ah, shit. Okay, get this engine as well. Want them all, but obviously the main one, we don't want it to go as hard as the others. Alright, shaking just a little bit. That's common and not that big of a problem. We are speeding up very, very high, very, very fast. That is usual, nothing to be worried about. Keep it straight, Jebediah, come on. You've been through this many times before now. And you're an experienced pilot, so I'm putting my faith that you can do this properly. Alright, let's start our gravity turn. A little bit late, but you know how they say, better late than never, am I right? I think we have already God damn, it's so hard to stabilize when it's like so long. And that's what she said. Okay, not the right time to make this kind of jokes. Okay, how are you doing? Okay, 75, that's good enough. As I said before, it is important to conserve your fuel and do this the burns in space, and now we are actually like you know, we are not losing electric charge because the solar panels are refilling whatever we are using with the ASS system. And since Jebediah has been upgraded as as a pilot, you can now click on these things and he can actually like orient the ship automatically on these markers if you want him to, on the prograde or retrograde marker. And as he advances, he'll be able to have even more markers under his control. Anyway, we are going high up over here, nothing to be worried about. The only worry about is if I have enough fuel to do a flyby of the moon. That is like the main worry. And yeah, I think we can do the mission over here to like conduct temperature survey with a rocket as well, just because it's that close. But as I said before, they are hideous, these kind of missions, because you know they just take so much time. And as I was trying to say, I eventually got to the point that I would run I would just go and play like Assassin's Creed 4 sea shanties, as I would fly the plane from one place of Kerbin to the other, you know, and it would take like 10 or 20 minutes, you know. Even with the speed up, it would still take a long time because, you know, distances are very, very large, if I can say it that way. Alright, we're gonna exchange from this phase to the last one, so I'm preparing to eject and fire the last engine, which is the Terrier, which we already know is a very strong and efficient engine. We are falling down now. We have passed our apoapsis, so I think we're gonna need to orient ourselves just a little bit higher up, just to like slow the rate at which we are falling, so compensate with our fall. And as we build our orbit around Kerbin, and then we will see how high up we can go. Alright, we're getting very close. 2,200 meters is the necessary speed, if you guys remember. And to get to the moon, you actually need like 3,000 meters per second in terms of speed. So, you know, totally doable. Alright, that's just a little bit more. There you go. We have it. Alright, now the problem is that I don't have planning active yet. I'll need to upgrade my tracking station. But yeah, the idea of it, how you do to get to the moon, you target it and then you burn at the point where you see your orbit like overlapping with the moon. So in this case, it would be at the periapsis. So if it would burn at the periapsis, if we had enough fuel to burn for 800 meters, we should have an encounter with the moon. So I'm gonna quick save now. We're gonna see if it is possible. I've never done this like without, and I can also not see how long I have until I get to the periapsis. So I have no way to measure time and things like that. So it is not very good. We'll need to keep in mind and maintain a little bit of fuel for and if we are gonna get back. But yeah, we're gonna quick save once again and we're gonna burn and we're gonna see where this burn lands us, considering the amount of fuel we have left. I think it might, cannot even set it as target. Yeah, this is, we have very primitive tracking tools. The thing is that we can use the gravity of the moon to fling us back into Kerbin if we come at the right angle. But while that is doable, as it is risky, because if it flings us too deep into Earth, how you might say, then you know, we will have some issues coming back and burning up, but we will see. We are getting close to it, so I slowed down so I can get the encounters as accurate as possible. I hope we can see the encounters. I think we will. Alright, burning very slowly, but we should, I think we should have an encounter with the moon. Might have missed it. Might have missed it just a little bit, and since we do not have any means to target the moon, we cannot see like how close we were and to like further improve our orbit over here. So this is gonna be just it's not gonna be a flyby of the moon, it's just gonna be a high orbiter. So yeah, once again, a disappointment. Every mission of mine is a fucking disappointment, man. Kind of like story of my life. Like every time I try to do something and I end up doing something completely different. Alright, what do we have? Broken a speed record, that is still good. We'll also see how we will slowly, it is very dark, I should have put some lights on this shit. As we will see how getting further and further away from Kerbin will lose signal power. I've extended the communitron, so now we have recovered it a little bit, but it's gonna get weaker. Alright, so as we get like at a million altitude by this point, we are in high orbit, so we can do the science, but I want to get to the point where we have a little bit of light, so I see what the fuck is happening. There we go, the sun is back on our ship. Alright, let's turn it around over here. The moon is over there. We will get close to it, but just not close enough. So, observe material bay in space high over Kerbin. This looks made a few of the samples glow. Very interesting. Mystery goo. The goo feels right at home. Oh, that's just lovely. Temperature report. Temperature of space appears to be quite impossible, as there is no matter around to be either cold or hot, except the spacecraft and the thermometer itself. This is probably gonna give the R&D guys something to think about for a while. Hahaha, I remember this one. But instruments is 0, as if it were in a vacuum. Well, it is. Crew report. It is very round. Yes, indeed. So nice to see it this far away. And if we turn the ship around a little bit, we'll be able to also get out Jebediah Kerman himself and let go so he can see the planet in its true beauty right over here. Alright, slow yourself down a little bit. Rodeo. EVA report. You recorded your observation about the situation, and there are indeed some noteworthy observation. But we better get back in the ship. So the thing is that in space, there is not much matter, but it's not like there is like absolutely no matter at all. And the very little matter that it is what is gonna give the temperature reading basically. This is the material bay. I mean, the ship moved and it's like on the dark side and I can't see the capsule very good. There we go, board, thank you. Just a few problems. I should equip lights for the next mission. Anyhow, let us move around in our journey around the globe in high space. So as you can see over here, we will be getting relatively close to the moon. It might even record an encounter because it is in this game sometimes the calculations are remade as we go around. But regardless if it does or not, yeah, we are very close to it. We could get an encounter, but I don't want to risk running out of fuel. What we're going to do is orient ourselves to the periapsis and burn in order to slow ourselves down into the atmosphere. And obviously the most efficient way to do it is while you're at the apoapsis, because that's how it works. Also very fun to see how the moon is actually faster than us at this point, because it has a smaller orbit than us. We go very slowly as we get to the apoapsis, so just keep that in mind. You will it will be very useful information when you'll need to work around things like performing encounters into space. Smaller orbits equals higher speed, bigger orbits equal like lower speed. Like if you want to like catch something up, you'll have to lower your orbit than the orbit that it has. If you want to like have something catch up to you, then you make your orbit higher and you'll slow down relative to it. Anyway, enough technical garble over here. This has been a very long episode, but that's mostly because airplanes are hard. Alright, let us just burn ourselves down right now. I don't think there's any possibility at this point that we'll get an encounter with the moon. Alright, 33,000 I think is low enough. I don't want to go, as I said, too low, because otherwise you risk yeah, I think what I needed is to start the burn a little bit earlier. Oh, look at that. We are now, the sun is blocked by the moon, so we're not getting any energy on the solar panels. Check it out, you can actually see them blocked by moon. That is so awesome when it happens. So we actually encountered, from our ship's perspective, a solar eclipse. That is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. But now the moon has passed by and we are very fast approaching. I mean, we are acceleratingly approaching Kerbin. Yeah, it's gonna be a rough ride back home. Hopefully we land on the day side. It's also a problem that you have to keep in mind whenever you like come back from space missions. Alright, yo. 400,000 and still falling. We're gonna land in the desert, from what it seems. So that's good for us. 100,000. Well, here we're gonna be in for a rough time here. A rough fall. We might be so fast that actually like retract the antenna. We don't really want to lose it, and we activated the radiator. We might be so fast that we might need to make another. We might make another orbit around. because we're like too fast. But you know, we have to like deal with it, because if we go faster than this, then we risk the other problem. We're having a lot of components hit up over here. Yeah, the struts are gonna blow up. There's no saving them. Alright. Well, as long as the engine survives... Nah, the engine is gonna blow up as well. And from what it seems, the solar panels are gonna get a beating. 32,000. You know, the thing is that as we go in, the more we slow down, and therefore the periapsis goes lower, and we get even deeper into the atmosphere, which burns us incredibly high. Oh no, overheat, overheat. Oh, that was a disaster. Yeah, alrighty then. That just happened. That's why we have vessel is destroyed, cannot autosave. That's why we have quick loads. I'll be back in just a bit. Alright, we're coming back to Earth once again. This is actually like the third attempt that we are having over here. I have made a second attempt, and this time I decided to make a slightly ever so slightly smaller orbit. For the reason is that in my second attempt that I have cut from the recording, actually I didn't, it's not that I cut, but I didn't record it. It was actually pretty hilarious. I tried to make another like long burn for like a potential encounter with the moon, and what happened is that I went much closer to the moon this time, and then when I made the burn to return to Kerbin, you know, to like drop the periapsis back into the atmosphere and fall back down, I had an encounter with the moon, and an encounter with the moon that was not recorded by the map. You know, it did not show the map view. The tracking station apparently is not evolved enough to show me that I'm going to encounter a giant rock in my pattern. So I made the burn, to return back to Kerbin. I like went ahead, let's speed up to not wait so long. And then, I waited just a few seconds. The giant rock came right into my face, and I just splashed into the moon's surface. Yeah, it was pretty hilarious, but not very healthy for like Jebediah and such. Anyway, this time I'm attempting a slightly more how do you say, like a more shallow approach. Like, I'm trying to not go as deep into the atmosphere, because I'm just like burning up way too out of control over here. So yeah, I'm trying to do like at 4,000 meters basically the approach, instead of like 35,000 that I tried last time. We are still overheating, but I'm hoping that it's not as bad. And keep in mind, we're gonna have to go through this every time we're gonna return from a space mission, with this like re-entry dilemma, if you want to call it that way. Do we go in deeper? Then we're gonna have to deal with the re-entry. Do we go too shallow? Then we're gonna have to make a few more runs in orbit, which happened to my friend. He got like one run in which he went like way too deep into the atmosphere and he burned up. So he made a second one in which he went like way too shallow, and he did like 6 more orbits until he eventually slowed down enough to like land. It was pretty hilarious, but obviously not very good. Can I like burn myself back into the atmosphere over here? I really don't want to do another run, so I'll try to burn so that my apoapsis drops below 70,000, and that should be good enough. There you go. Now we're definitely gonna be into the atmosphere. Hopefully we'll land on land, maybe. It's gonna be pretty dark as well. Just a lot of like annoying circumstances, and then there is the moon over there laughing at our valiant attempt to fly by it. Ha! That's what you get. he says, but we're gonna get to it. One way or the other. Do I still have the struts? Oh, there they are. Alright. Very good indeed. I still collected the signs that we need to, so all we really need to do now is to just slow down and come back down. Seems that we are going up. Yeah, there you go. We are going up, but and we are going in a slightly less dense part of the atmosphere, so it's slowing down less. But we are already like deep enough that we're not going to come back. Yeah, the only issue is that we are really landing in the dark. It's another problem that you have to take into consideration every time, but you know, what can you do, I guess. Some weird lightning effects over here with the heating. The biggest problem that I have with landing on the dark side is electricity is gonna become an issue once again. I think I have enough now. Alright, and now we're going back down again. Still have a little bit of sun left, but it's not gonna last us for too very long. Oh boy, here we go. It's below 40,000 where it gets like really crispy. Yeah, this is where it gets good. Crispy Kerbals, my favorite. The idea was that why I hesitated to like burn to like slow myself down is that while I was slowing myself down temporarily, I was also bringing my orbit, my periapsis even lower and bringing myself even deeper into the atmosphere. But now I think we can do that safely since we are already, you know, we know for sure that we're gonna land. So I'm gonna try and use my engine just to like slow myself down a little bit. The sun has already set it from my perspective, so we are clearly and completely in the dark as to where we are gonna land. We do not know if it's like ocean or land or mountains or desert or whatever it is. And yeah, it's also very disadvantageous. But at least we should be safe now on the approach. 30,000. Oh boy, this is quite the speed that we have. Luckily there are no mountains that are that high up, so I'm not afraid of like smashing into a random rock like it was with the moon. But still, something that you should keep in mind. We're gonna be out of fuel, and it's out. Yeah, my only worry is that I hope that the parachute can slow it down enough so it don't lose the material bay when we hit the ground. Preparing the landing struts. Okay, I think we not sure exactly what happened, but I'm gonna detach. Oh, a landing strut got destroyed. Alright, guess stuff happens. And activate the parachutes so we slow ourselves down. Yeah, I should have really put lights on this thing. Can't see jack shit. So annoying. Except for the moon. Yeah, we did lose a landing strut. As if things were not bad enough. You know, the game just has this way of like taunting you every time with like random shit like this. Alright. Oh, it seems that we're on land. Yeah, the explosion definitely guarantees that we are on land. There you go. Yes, indeed, it did deploy before 2500. So it seems that it's just a hill or some grasslands or something. No desert or anything like that, fortunately, but we should be fine. We're gonna tumble down as we land, but it's the thing that we have to deal with. There you go, about 100 meters is the altitude at which we are going to land, which just means just regular plains, I guess. Alright, let's speed ourselves down for the final approach. The parachutes are gonna keep us straight. Yeah, so technically I could have tried to land on the moon on that attempt that got deleted, but I probably didn't have enough fuel for that, and definitely did not have enough fuel to like also return uh, as well. But the way it happened, like I was literally like speeding up, and then suddenly it came, and I was like, what the fuck? All right, we landed. It was pretty smooth landing actually. What do we have here? Yeah, it's grasslands. Oh well. Did we take barometer? Oh, we didn't. All right, sweet. Thermometer as well. We did that. Oh well. Let us recover vessel, and yes, this has been our first high orbit around Kerbin. So now we have enough science to like actually make the plane, but you know, that is boring. Who wants to do work with planes, right? We want to get to the moon, isn't that right? So we're gonna get the fuel systems. Alright, that being said, hope you guys enjoyed watching. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you next time where we'll actually try to do a flyby of the moon and not mess around with airplanes and shit like that. Anyway, see you guys next time. Bye bye.